Attention, have you seen this woman? Well, now you have. This is Hibari Ozora, and she is a force to be reckoned with. Her locker is stuffed daily with love letters. The boys all want to date her, and the girls all want to be her. She's athletic, talented, and smart, has a unique outfit for almost every single episode, and all around, basically a perfect human being in every way. But she has a secret. A deep, dark secret that no one outside of her family can know, and her family is honor-bound to keep to the grave. Hibari was born a boy. My name is D Starlight. I'm 22 years old. Wait. No. Stop the music. I'm still doing the intro. Stop! 1983's Stop Hibari-kun has become my favorite anime of all time. Sorry, Lane. It has a prominently queer main character done with a lot more nuance and progressive taste than you'd expect for the time period. It uses a transphobic slur once in the whole series of 35 episodes, which is genuinely insane for the time. It's funny, it's heartwarming, it has genuinely incredible representation of not just queer topics, but things like unconventional family dynamics too. In so many ways, this is an anime that should not exist. And yet it does. Stop Hibari-kun is the product of one Hisachi Iguchi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, a man who probably has a lot of things he needs to think about. It started out life as a series of weekly strips compiled into 3 manga volumes, before being adapted into a 35-episode animated series by Toei Animation, which is primarily what I'll be focusing on in this video. The manga is an entirely different beast that I've only been able to read Volume 1 of, but if you're interested, Volume 1 does have a translation, and Volume 2's translation is done and will hopefully be shipping out next month. Hey, it only took them 43 years to do Volume 1! Regardless, if you're interested, I'll link it in the description where you can buy it firsthand. Now, your first thought seeing this video and its runtime is it's probably going to be very similar to the Serial Experiments Lane video, but it's going to be very different in many ways. For one, I am not recapping every fucking episode. I physically just can't for this series. In Lane's case, it was very important for me in order to truly cover the story of everything going on. It was required for me to cover all 13 episodes, but I don't have to do that here, and I want this video to release sometime this year, so I'm not going to. Cope. There are occasional plot lines that do span across multiple episodes though, and I'll touch on those whenever I can. At the end of the day, I make these videos to get people interested in something. I like to get the ball rolling. So if anything, it just leaves a lot more content for you, the viewer, to actually seek out and engage with on your own instead of just me chewing it up and regurgitating it to you like I'm a mother bird. So, to split the difference, I'll only tackle the first episode in depth, and I'll briefly go over some plot points from various other episodes that I think are interesting and noteworthy. This should give you a good overview of the overall vibes and aesthetic of the show, while still leaving plenty of content for you to engage with on your own, if you so desire. Oh, and one last thing before we get started, because I know I'm undoubtedly going to get comments about it. Hibari is trans. She was born a boy. She presents as female. She refers to herself as female predominantly, except for some more serious moments. While not perfect, I interpret her as a transgender main character, and so many people do as well, and that's what I'm going with, the end. So, without further ado, let's finally get into why this Hibari needs to be stopped.
G がキャラの話をするぞ。わお、なんていう無Gなんだ。
In my opinion, Stop Hibari-kun lives and dies by its characters and the dynamics between them. In total, we have 2 main leads within a primary cast of 8 characters. Let's start off by going over our 2 leads. Kosaku Sakamoto is literally just a guy. Out of nowhere, his entire world changes overnight as he's dragged into some kind of altered world of gender fuckery, yakuza, bisexual panic, unconventional family dynamics, and so much more. And all he can do is try to remain somewhat sane as this world of perversion, as the show likes to call it, swallows him whole. And nowhere more is this shown in the title character herself. Hibari Ozora is the main character of the series. Born a boy, but you sure as fuck wouldn't notice, she's meant to be a living middle finger to the tropes and conventions of traditional romance manga/anime at the time. In a time period where queer topics were a lot more taboo, Hibari sticks out as a shining beacon of what happens when you literally just let yourself be yourself, regardless of what everyone else tries to push on you. She's confident, charismatic, willing to do whatever it takes to get Kosaku to love her, naturally talented at every possible thing she could do, and gives me gender envy almost every single fucking episode. I wasn't kidding. That's it for our two main leads, but we still have a lot of other people to talk about. Most notably, the rest of the Ozora family. At the head of the family is Hibari, mob boss of the Ozora organization, single father, resident hater of Hibari's gender identity, and all-around doofus. Genuinely, it is unclear if he's a mob boss LARPing being the father, or a father LARPing being a mob boss. I'm of the belief that it's the latter. The show likes to have him switch emotions and tone, and occasionally the entire art style, completely on a whim, and I find it funny literally every single time, so good for me! He's also prone to some quite frequent rages as part of Hibari being the chaotic gender goblin she is, causing him to spout nonsense about seeing white alligators. Whatever that means, alright? The eldest sister is Tsugumi, a girl who cannot get a good marriage to save her life, as we'll see time and time again. I wish I could say more about her here, but the show kinda just does nothing with her, admittedly. She's just kind of the shadowy, mysterious big sister type. Why is the camera focusing in on me? Nearest to Hibari's age is Tsubame, who frequently gets upset with Hibari for taking her clothes. Can't really blame her, Hibari makes Tsubame's wardrobe work way better anyways. And finally is the youngest, Suzumi. She's based as fuck, tries to act much older than she actually is, unfortunately in some cases a Japan moment, and is the only member of the family to consistently refer to Hibari as a girl for the entire series. That rounds out most of our main cast with two exceptions. Seiji is a big doofus with a bigger heart of gold. Taken in by Hibari when he had nothing, he owes his life to his boss. His missions are to scare the ever-living shit out of Kosaku to wake him up each morning, protect his boss's family, and maybe play a bit of dress-up with Suzumi. Lastly, Sabu is the single most underutilized character of the main cast, which is genuinely impressive because half of the main cast is underutilized. I'm not even sure if he gets an episode where he's a main character. Destined to be nothing more than a side character, all Sabu can do is just have absolutely insane amounts of aura whenever he's on screen. And really, that's the best you could do. These two goofballs are essentially honorary family members, and this is one of the key parts of the series working so well in my opinion, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. There's a bunch of various recurring side characters we see from time to time, such as the bosses of increasingly bizarre other Yakuza organizations. A guy that really wants to date Tsubame. An exaggerated caricature of Hisachi Eguchi as a host character that breaks the fourth wall as the recurring joke to the audience. The bog standard pompadour-style bully. And most prominently of all, the white alligators. So, okay. I don't understand what the fuck is up with the white alligators. Hey all, Editing Room D here. So, in the time between when I'm currently editing this video and when I recorded all of the DTuber segments, I didn't have my Hibari DVD, but now I do. And in this DVD box set is a little pamphlet with a bunch of extra information. And inside, I finally have real, honest-to-goddess confirmation of what the white alligators are supposed to mean. It's supposed to be a manuscript. The white alligator is basically an anthropomorphized version of a manuscript representing Hisachi Eguchi's fear of deadlines and the pressure he was put under to consistently make Hibari comics every week, despite the fact that he's more comfortable doing things bi-weekly. And I guess it just manifests itself as these white alligators for, slapstick comic relief gags? That is the best that I'm able to understand it, but at the very least that is, some sort of explanation for the silly little guys. So, there we go. Just figured I'd add this little segment here just to clear that up. Woo! Back to the video! This is, the best that I think I could come up with. So, imagine the minions, but, less annoying, kinda cute, and I think the source of all the random supernatural bullshit that just happens sometimes? Why are they here? What is their prevalence? Are they really just here to speculate the natural chaos of human life while occasionally adding their own? Why is Iwari the only character that can actually fucking see them consistently? Just like explaining most of the bizarre comedy of this show, I don't know. But they're essentially the show's mascot, and honestly, they grow on you very fast. And that's all the major characters that we will see throughout the show. For all I'm about to gas this anime up, the characters and the dynamics between them are really what makes the show stick for me. This show takes the concepts of blood family, found family, and Yakuza family, mixes it into a pot, and makes it all work beautifully. As someone with a let's just say less than ideal family life, I've had to get my fill of family dynamics from the media that I consumed over the years. And the Ozoras are just such a hard family to hate, man. It's one of those things that makes the anime stick out even more in my mind as a one-of-a-kind experience. So now that we know our cast and dynamics, let's take a play-by-play through the first episode titled She is an Idol, and get a taste for how they all interact.
信じられんこの番組の外にからだと
A woman has died. Don't click off the video, I'm going somewhere with this. As she's about to leave this mortal coil, she speaks to her only son, Kosaku Sakamoto. She tells him to go to Tokyo and live with an old love interest of hers named Iwari Ozora, and Kosaku does as she asks. And as soon as he steps off the train, Kosaku's entire world begins to change. Threatening-looking guys like bodyguards talking about honor, a limousine, sunglasses, even whatever this is. As soon as Kosaku reaches his destination, he reads the sign on the property, Kanto Ozora Group. Kosaku's new family has a Yakuza mob boss as a breadwinner, and that tears it for him. He needs to get the fuck out of this place immediately. When the door opens, and, well... Wow, my guy did not even stand a chance. I mean, we already know the twist because I needed a good hit for this video, but Kosaku doesn't, and immediately falls head over heels for, as you might have guessed, Hibari Ozora. This immediately makes him reconsider running away from home, which makes total sense, as an attractive trans woman could get me to do damn near anything. After the rest of the family introduce themselves to Kosaku, the big reveal drops that Hibari is the eldest son of the family. Kosaku has fallen head over heels for a boy, and as such, we have the main internal conflict of the show. Hibari loves Kosaku, and Kosaku, to some extent, does love Hibari, but he struggles to cope and accept the fact that he may, in fact, be bisexual, denying it as often as possible. And yet, all while managing to act out of jealousy at times whenever some guy shows interest in Hibari, to keep her secret safe, or to keep Hibari available to him. Who's to say? As Kosaku begins to realize the internal conflict he's gotten himself into, we see the show's signature jab. Hibari trying to reprimand Hibari for not acting like a man, and Hibari simply not giving a single fuck. This is a common occurrence that happens damn near every episode, and she's always ready with the comebacks and the confidence to where Iwari loses every single time. After dinner, Tsubame leaves Kosaku to his room, where Kosaku is astounded by the technology of a light switch, before starting to talk about Hibari. We're not even halfway through the first episode, and we are already starting to see how family members are starting to think that Hibari just is a girl. I mean, she is, but they're getting there, kind of some slack. They're a bit confused, but they got the spirit. As the series goes on, even Iwari will start to loosen up on Hibari's identity, even referring to her as a girl occasionally. This is one of those things that, as a trans woman, I watch on with massive amounts of envy, but I digress. After their chat and Tsubame leaves, Hibari jump scare! The two's rooms are connected by a door, so Kosaku quite literally cannot run from his inner bisexual panic. Irony sure is funny, innit? Sorry, I'm just a really big fan of this eye catch animation. We see Seiji on his daily mission to scare the fuck out of Kosaku to wake him up, before telling him the bathroom is down on the hall. When Kosaku appears, he accidentally walks in on— oh fuck, wait, no, we can't show that, wait, no, we can't show that. The anime's rated R-, by the way, Lil figured I should mention that. Well, at least Kosaku now knows for sure that Hibari's trans. Time for Kosaku's first day of his new school. Hibari continues to slay in every single goddamn student he's in, even without talking. We see a brief glance of low-key one of my favorite niche side characters, Kosaku's teacher, a woman who I can best describe as a Japanese weeaboo. If you know, you know. She literally just is out here making shit up about Kosaku's father, and when Kosaku realizes what's going on, it's like nothing ever happened. God, this is so fucking funny. Why? Goober! The mandatory bully-esque kid with a pompadour cut has arrived. His name is Sheena, and he's got the hots for Hibari. Too bad he's like nowhere near Hibari's type. After Kosaku and Sheena— oh, did I just fucking mute my headset? Shit. After Kosaku and Shina almost throw hands right on the first day of class, Hibari takes care of things rather quickly. While searching for a club to join, Hibari swoops in and starts doing her usual girl-bossing bullshit, when Kosaku finally has enough and confronts her in the halls, after Hibari was using female dialectics within the Japanese language, despite the fact that she's supposed to be a boy according to some arbitrary rule society made up to make conformity easier. Or something. They play fight for a bit as Hibari runs to hide behind Shina. You know, the typical class bully character we saw earlier, now casually being used as a human shield because Hibari just doesn't give a fuck. Shina and Kosaku actually square up and trade blows, revealing Kosaku actually does know how to fight for himself. Meaning, the whole bullshit where the teacher was talking about how his father was abusive, some of that was actually right. This will actually pay off in a few episodes from now, as Kosaku eventually decides to join the boxing club, which will be a recurring plot point for his character throughout the series. Kosaku tries, but Shina's already a member, and he knows how to throw hands. Then Hibari does this. Absolutely terrified, Kosaku simply asks what will happen to him. The episode ends in this fantasy flashback as Kosaku runs for his life, trying to pretend he's straight as Hibari runs after him into a freeze frame, the same way that a lot of episodes in the series will end off on. And that is the first episode of Stop Hibari-kun, covered in depth. From this, you should get a general feel of just how many episodes in the series are, even if I've skipped over a lot of the dialogue and the jokes that really make the show what it is. But how are the other episodes? Let's check them out.
Dが自分自身に売れた?
Hey everyone, welcome to this video's Kofi ad. While I have you here, if you're enjoying the video so far, you should join my Ko-Fi page, the Ducky D Unemployment Fund. It starts at just $3 a month, and it has a lot of perks. Probably way too much for me to be including at that price, but fuck it, we ball. Things like early, uncensored, and uncompressed video access, a lot more behind-the-scenes information, special Discord channels, secret live streams where I literally produce videos live, and a bunch of other perks on top of that. And also paying more to get your name in the credits like these people did. Because everyone does that, so I figured I may as well. I try to make it as much of a deal as I can because, I'm gonna be honest, I can't do this YouTube channel without the support of people like you. I need your help to fund my endeavors to make a 12-hour-long Pink Floyd retrospective. So if you're enjoying the video so far, consider tossing a couple bucks my way and continuing to allow me to make these stupid fucking videos. While I have you here, and we're still in this little bubble of time before all the people that spam forward 10 seconds or just skip this section with sponsor block because it's a self-advertising segment, it's just us here. And I like to do something special with my Ko-Fi ads. I like to just give some extra incentive for you to watch these ads all the way. So, if you've been keeping up on my community posts, you'll notice that I got this during the production of this video. This is the entire soundtrack to Stop Hibari-kun on a fucking vinyl record from, I believe, 1984. And we're gonna check it out together. Come on! Here she is, in all of its glory. There were two of these LPs released. There's the Stop Hibari-kun songbook, and then there's the Stop Hibari-kun official soundtrack, which is the one that I have. The songbook is like 60% material that's also found in here. Most notably, it's like the songs that all have lyrics in it, and then a couple extra new pieces put in there, but realistically, between the two, I'm more excited to get this one. So, yeah, there's multiple reasons why. There's strengths, pros and cons to both of them, but like, the main reason I got it was honestly just for the fucking art in this thing is absolutely incredible. And they do this thing where they like have a booklet, but it's sewn into the jacket itself. So it's not like an extra insert. Like, these are two just pages that are sewn into the book itself, or into the record sleeve itself. So yeah, you can naturally on here, you've got a bunch of like lyrics and stuff. You've got like a fun fact about each of the characters, as well as their ages, which mean including that, yes, Hibari canonically is 15 years old, Suzumi is 9, Ibari is 50, Kosaku is 15, Shina is 16, Tsubame is 17, and Tsugumi is 20. And I think all of these there's like not any of these fun facts that are like particularly noteworthy, except for Segumi's, which is just like they couldn't find her BWH measurements, which I believe is a reference to a joke that they also do in the manga as well for her. But I like to think of it that they have to conclude this joke here because otherwise they'd have literally nothing to fucking say about her because they use her so fucking infrequently throughout the show. And you just got Hibari here, and then you have a couple of the Polaroids from the outro animation. And one thing that it took me getting this in person for me to realize is that on each pair of Polaroids, one person has a heart. And that's like the primary motivator for the relationship. Not to mention that that's never mind. Yeah. So, like, in Yakun and Hibari, Yakun wants Hibari, Hibari wants Harue, Hibari wants Kosaku, Rie wants Shina, you know, etc, etc. Ozora and Umiyushi, I don't know why they're included here. They don't have a heart at all. I guess just because they're rivals. And I guess that's still a form of a relationship, so I guess it's included here. I don't know. And then on the back of it, you've got this really awesome drawing with a lot of the with pretty much all the main characters of the show. And then also the CEO of Toxic Masculinity and his son are also here for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why, but besides that, everybody else here again, it's basically just like the main cast with the Mean Girl squad. And then you also have white alligators here because it's Stop Hibari-kun. Would this really be Stop Hibari-kun if there weren't an overabundance of white alligators? As for the actual record itself, plays absolutely fine. Did my camera just... I'm watching you, OBS. As for the record plays absolutely perfectly. It's got, like, I believe 7, like, proper songs with lyrics, and the rest of them are, like, little ditties that are, like, maybe a minute and a half or less. But if you're interested in these, my record player has native USB Type-B out. I've actually ripped this record, and I've put it onto the Internet Archive, and that will be linked in the description if you want to give this a listen. Spoiler alert! If you're a fan of city pop, you'll probably really like this. Whoops. There we go. Now it's back to being as flat as my chest before I started hormones. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little like extra look into the Hibari LP. I don't know. I like to include something a little bit extra for all of my like Kofi Ad stuff, just as a little thank you for actually watching all this all the way to the end. So I hope you liked it. I know it's not much, but I like doing something a little bit extra and unconventional for the status quo of being a YouTuber. So that's all I have over here. Back to me in the past. All in all, for an anime that really did not get a lot of merchandise, I'm glad I was able to get my hands on this guy at least, even if I paid more in shipping and import fees than I paid for the actual record itself. And with your financial support to the Ducky D Unemployment Fund, I can continue to get stupid memorabilia such as this and keep making all of these videos. So I hope you'll consider subscribing, or joining the Ko-Fi, or even just sharing this video around. All of that stuff really helps out. And that's basically all I have for the shell for this video. Back to me.
誰もヘバリ君を止められない
The first episode does a lot in setting up the backbone for the rest of the series. From the main will they won't they romance of Kosaku and Hibari, to Seiji's recurring gag of scaring Kosaku awake, banter between family members, and even setting up Kosaku's fighting ability for his eventual joining of the boxing club. Overall, while it's not my favorite episode of the series, it makes for a pretty good first impression, even if I have now seen it like 15 fucking times just from showing it to people. It's definitely not as zany as some of the other various plotlines the show gets into with later episodes, though. I could take the time to explain a bunch of episodes, but honestly that'd be doing the series a big disservice. Unlike Lane, where a lot of its appeal comes from the storytelling, visuals, and the actual, like, point A to point B story, Hibari really prides itself on its minute-to-minute experience, and even if I just skim through a bunch of episodes and give a sentence or two description of them, you'd still only be getting the highlights of the story. The character dynamics, and the conversations, and the gags, and the whatever this is. Wow, I lost the sauce there, holy shit. Although, that's actually a pretty good idea to allow me to hyperfix on more stuff that I like about the series. So let's do that! Literally, the episode right after the one we covered, Hibari fights the CEO of Toxic Masculinity after he fucks up her bangs and absolutely decimates him. This is just a sample of what I have to show you. Episodes 4 and 5 are a two-parter episode spanning Kosaku having just joined the boxing club and going on a school training trip where romantic hijinks ensue and things get pretty crazy. Episode 8 features... What the fuck? Why is the wall there? What? Sorry. Episode 8 features a really convoluted plotline revolving around Kaji to leave Tsubame the fuck alone. This results in Hibari and Tsubame doing an outfit swap, which is not the first time that we've seen in this series. Having a fake date with Kaji, leaving him home, and eventually ending in a played serious, wholesome, actual, honest-to-God queer kiss. It even has its own unique song in the background with lyrics, something that happens, I think, only 4 times in the entire series. It's the moment that I personally fell in love with the series and made me realize that it's so much more than I originally thought. Episode 13 has gambling, Hibari experiencing a moment of gender euphoria, and a shot of Hibari that has done irreversible damage to my gender identity. Hizachi Iguchi, take estrogen. It would fucking save you. I promise. Episode 15 will be touched on in a later segment. Episode 19 is when the American mobsters come to Japan. We've got culture shock. We've got Sabu having T-boy swag. I will not elaborate. A whole-ass Bonnie and Clyde parody, Kosaku dreaming about T-girl pregnancy being real, having this be revealed in public, and Hibari being absolutely ecstatic about it. One of the best episodes of the entire series, for sure. Episode 20 brings back my favorite side character, Kosaku's teacher. In this episode, it is revealed she is a full-on Yakuza LARPer, coming to a Yakuza's family house for a parent-teacher conference that has to pretend to not be Yakuza. But she believes that there very much is, and hijinks ensue yet again. Episode 21 brings back Ri, who we literally have not seen in 17 episodes, finding out that she poured all of her effort into professional wrestling after the love square fell apart in episode 4, which is a genuinely really cool touch, and I'm very glad that they keep bringing back their characters and building on it. Episode 22 is the Yuri episode. You know, like, I'm being, like, look at this and tell me that Hibari isn't at least somewhat vicarious. This is, like... Hizachi, what were you cooking? Episode 24 starts an arc where the gang are stranded far away from Japan, after being summoned to a mysterious island to solve a mystery of missing maidens, and ending in a kaiju fight? Episode 27 will also be discussed later, but in a much better light than episode 15. Episode 29 is about a manic pixie dream girl and involves Hibari having a fucking ESP psychic duel with a transphobe for Kosaku's love. This shit is so ahead of its time, it's absurd. And finally, the last 5 episodes of the series are hands down the most bizarre of the bunch. Mostly from the creators knowing that the series was about to end and wanting to just do the most absolutely outrageous shit possible. We've got a time travel episode that ends in an ET parody. We've got a body swap episode. We have the finale that basically tries to jump the shark in the most absurd way possible, which I won't actually spoil it here, mostly because I can't even describe it in a way that makes sense to people watching the video. All of these are just highlights of my experiences of having watched the entire series twice. I'm skipping over all the best moments of minute-to-minute banter, silly gags and jokes, pop culture references, family bullshit, and so much more. There is just, like, so much to talk about here that I need to limit myself somehow, or I'll be forced to make an unfunny joke about the video's runtime. However, we've had a lot of fun here, but we kinda still need to address the white alligator in the room with us. Unfortunately, as for the time, there are unsavory parts of this anime that have aged absolutely horribly. And if I'm doing a whole video about Stop Hibari-kun, unfortunately it's something that I can't really dance around. I'm going to be showing depictions of these on screen, so go on ahead and skip to this timestamp if you don't want to see that stuff. Alright, you're still here? Alright, lock in. As progressive as it is with portraying a queer main character, Stop Hibari-kun is still far from perfect, as perfect never really exists anyway. But in the case of Stop Hibari-kun, we can really boil this down by just talking about one episode in particular. Let's remove the pin from episode 15. Episode 15 is titled A Passionate Day for Seiji-san, and it is the only episode in the series that actually revolves around Seiji. Seiji is infamous, unfortunately. He's a sweetheart, and I love him to death. He really does try to do the right thing whenever possible. He owes his life to his boss and vows to protect him and his family for all that he's done. Seiji is also a racist caricature of tribal people for literally a third of the time he's on screen. This just fucking sucks on its own. But the episode in particular is about Seiji receiving a love letter, something he's never experienced before. And it is revealed later in the episode that this love letter comes from a high schooler. And before you think anything else, he rejects her in the end. Fucking obviously. But it's still a fairly uncomfortable episode to sit through, honestly. Even if Seiji is coming at this whole situation from his usual place of earnest, somewhat foolish kindness. I'll admit that I have a bit more of a stomach for this sort of thing, as it's kind of an uncomfortable but inevitable reality of enjoying anime from the time period, but I'd understand if it puts people off. All that I ask is that you give the series an honest shot first. Disregarding material purely on the basis that they have controversial or poorly aged content within is like the exact opposite thesis of my entire channel and multiple videos that I've made, and that applies here too. Even that one bully character that I'm pretty sure is supposed to be blackface, but I'm not entirely sure. To neglect the unsavory parts of history is no more than revisionism. So, for transparency's sake, I have to mention it here. Welcome back, everyone that skipped to the timestamp for not wanting to see controversial and poorly aged racial caricatures. I always hate ending on bad notes, so before I get to the actual wrap-up of the video, I'd like to talk in depth about one last episode. Episode 27. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. Episode 27 is titled Ibari's Love Story. In this episode, Ibari falls for a cafe proprietor named Fumiko. He struggles throughout the episode dealing with being with a woman he actually really likes, despite the awkward situation that he is a widow. He was married and his wife passed away, and that Fumiko's spoiling, while sweet, may not be the best influence on Suzumi's development. It's pretty wholesome stuff on the surface. I'm always a really big fan of the Ibari and Suzumi-centric plotlines because their father-daughter dynamic is genuinely just... it's fucking heart-melting. It's genuinely really cute, and I love that shit. But where it gets interesting is at the very end of the episode, where Hibari and Fumiko confide in their shared secret. That's right. The plot twist is that Fumiko is also trans. The reason Fumiko was so dead set on spoiling Suzumi rotten, despite it not being the best for her, is because Fumiko wanted, just for a little while, to feel like a mother. Fuck. Ask literally like any trans woman alive, and it is almost guaranteed that they will understand exactly what Fumiko is feeling here. The desire of being a woman in so many ways, except for a mother in the traditional sense. As much as we like to joke about it, trans women at this time still can't actually get pregnant. I mean, I'm not going to stop you from trying, but that's just outside of BDSM fantasy. And this shit hits so hard for me. It hits for all the trans femmes I've shown this anime to. And it even hits to Hibari herself. That right there? That's the smile of a trans woman learning that there's more people just like her. That she's not as alone as she originally thought. That she feels understood in a way that 99% of the entire world possibly couldn't. And that's something that I'm sure anyone can find the value of, if you're normal or cis. And with that, let's finally wrap this thing up.
フィナーレだ。G 化動画を締めるぞ。
There isn't any other anime like Stop Hibari-kun. It has such a unique blend of trope subversion, progressive themes, outlandish and nonsensical humor, a genuinely endearing cast, a phenomenal soundtrack, and all running for a solid 35-episode streak. My god, it even has a Pink Floyd reference. It's an anime that I love and will continue to share to countless other people for years to come, and I hope you consider checking it out too. The entire series with proper fan translations is available on the Internet Archive, which I'll link in the description. You almost certainly won't be bored, if anything. Thanks for watching a video where I talk about a thing I really like with occasional sound effects and funny text on screen. If you really liked it, consider joining the Ducky D Unemployment Fund for a bunch of behind-the-scenes and extra and early content. And even if you can't, just subscribing or sharing the video with a friend does a lot for my little channel. I'm probably gonna hit 10k subs off this video, but I've still got so many more videos to make. But that's all I've got for you for this video specifically. Thanks for watching once again, and have a great rest of your day.